one thing that I really learned in my life is if you want to reach a child, you have to reach their spirit. See, today we have a lot of methods to teach our children. They all work for a while, most of them do, but then they fail. And we wonder why. See, the majority of our methods today are based on some sort of manipulation, an idea of controlling another person's thought or will. And this is a problem. And guess what? Our children do let us know that this is a problem by protesting it, rebelling it. But we, as adults, instead of listening to them, trying to look at them as equal human beings and involve them into solutions, we try to come up with a different manipulation. And this paradox continues. For example, we're accustomed to believe that little children, when they cry or get very upset, they have to be distracted or redirected into something else. We've forgotten that we simply can listen to them and respond to their requests. It continues into our adulthood. This is how we learn to look for external redirections and distractions from life, be it entertainment, comfort food, alcohol, etc., etc. You all know that. So there is a method, though, that's been invented or discovered thousands of years ago, teaching our children lessons not to their mind, but to their heart. And this method is called teaching them through parables. Now let's look at what is parable. Parable is a message that has a parallel meaning. In the case that we will look today, it is a straightforward story that has imaginary characters or objects, and it has an underlying lesson. And our society is full of parables. Children get those parables very well, right into their heart. We as adults have lost this ability to understand them. Maybe because we use our minds way too much and our hearts not enough. So we would look today at two parables. The first one would be one well-known parable of gingerbread boy. And I'm sure that most of you know that story. And let's look at what lesson are we putting into our children's heart with this particular parable. Gingerbread boy, a cookie, symbolically portraying an image of a child. Out of fear to be controlled by his parents or eaten up, runs brainlessly away. He runs as brainlessly through the environments of a cow, of a horse, and hard-working people, until he gets to the river, which is a symbol of life. He doesn't know how to live life because he's been on the run the whole life. Here he meets another trickster, a fox, who is disguised as a helper. And he trusts her, and at the end, he gets eaten up. So what's the lesson of the story that we're putting into our children's heart today? Become a better trickster or you'll get eaten up or controlled? Is that what we really want? Now let's look at our society today. Our children are born, moms are given 8 to 12 weeks to care for them, and then our children turned into childcare centers, summer programs, schools, enrichment activities, etc., etc. Our children spend way too much time with people whose hearts and minds are unknown to us. They do not spend enough time in the family, with parents and relatives, to naturally acquire a sense of the world today. And how can we expect them to be anyone else but brainless gingerbread girls and boys running around in this world out of fear to be controlled? We set them up for that. Now let's compare this story to its ancient parable, the story called Kolobok. It's a Russian fairy tale. Oops. I went too far. It's an ancient parable, and the story will appear to be fairly the same for you. But the lesson from that story is completely different. So in this story, the round bun, the kolobok, is get created by his grandparents. Grandma and grandpa create him, and put him on the windowsill to cool off. And after he cools off, he decides to roll. And here's how he rolls: from the windowsill to the bench, from the bench to the floor, from the floor, across the floor to the door, through the door into the hallway, out of the door into the garden, out of the gate, and out into the world. In this one sentence, the lesson and the importance of learning from the family environment is portrayed in the story. Now, the grandma and grandpa are not running after him because they know he's gotten everything he needs in the house to meet any challenge in the world. So in the world, he meets 4 animals: a hare, a wolf, a bear, and a fox. Those are 4 challenging energies we meet in the world. A hare is cowardness, wolf, aggression, bear, force, and fox, deception. He meets them with a song. And the song is a way of his life, a story of his life. He meets a hare, and here's what he sings. The hare says, "Don't eat me, please don't eat me." The hare says, "I'm gonna eat you, the bun." And the bun sings, "I was scraped from a flour tin, swept up from a corn bin, mixed with water into the bun, baked in the oven till I was done, left on a sill to cool some. I left my grandmother and I left my grandfather too, and I'm sure, hare, I'll have no trouble leaving you." And off he goes down his road, his way of life. None of those animals run after him because he is a representation of a free man who is way above all the energies presented by those animals in the story, until he meets a fox who, with her deceiving ideas, catches him in the energy of pride. She says she likes his song so much, and she has to jump on her nose and then her tongue and sing that song again. There, our bun forgets everything he learned at home, everywhere in the world, and he just goes on and follows her advice, and at the end, he gets eaten up. He does. So the end of both stories is the same, but the lesson from this story is the lesson of the story is that we as human beings can overcome anything in this world, but if we get caught up in deception, we begin to destroy ourselves. A lot of parents worry about the story, to read it to their children. They think their children want to become like foxes, and it's a valuable worry. When our children realize the deceiving ways of this world today, they do want to resonate with the energy of the fox because they've learned that to get their way, they got to trick someone. But this only happens when they forget that by getting caught up in this deception, they begin to destroy themselves. So I invite you to really rewrite the story to its original, from the lesson of how to become a better trickster to a lesson of be careful to get caught up in deception because you can destroy yourself. Let's teach our children how to live honorable life with integrity and to remember what they learn from their home. As a parent and as an educator, I refuse to believe that our children are brainless gingerbread boys and girls wandering in this world out of fear to be eaten up. If we begin to see them as capable individuals, highly spiritual, inquisitive, and curious, they begin to manifest those qualities in this life, in our world. And they all have those qualities, every single one of them, and every single one of us. And I see it happening every single day at Cedarwood Academy, in children and in adults who serve them. Thank you.